All right guys, in this video I'm going to show you guys how I took these photographs in my small apartment. I'm on the 1535 right now, zoomed all the way out to 15 millimeters. It probably looks bigger than it really is. One of the key things to this look is the red backdrop. Now I didn't use an actual red backdrop, I used an LED light. So I'm going to play a little breakdown video real quick and then we're going to go into more details. All right guys, so we're shooting some fun shit. Obviously that background's going to be fixed in post, but we're just using the same white backdrop, but we got the mix panel in the RGB mode, and it's just on 000 on red, saturation all the way up. We have, once again, the Nanlite Octabox on here, no grid, and you see it's barely kicking any light still onto the backdrop. I have the Nanlite 60, once again, just doing a hair light, and then the Pavo tube down here, and I have it set all the way to its coolest temp, 1200 Kelvin, and it's at 85%. And that's just giving, I don't know if you can see it, but there's like subtle hints of blue hitting up. It's like the little things like that that really add like complementary colors without just blasting colors into the whole image. That's the setup there. Obviously, we have the V-flat world, V-flat here, just adding some negative fill so it's not getting crazy bounce light everywhere. All right guys, so first off, one of the most important things is obviously you need a backdrop. I mean, you can use a white wall if you want, but I mean, most white walls aren't super white. They're kind of like an off-white. So you can see here, I do have my backdrop set up right here. This is what I have to do every time I want to shoot. Okay, so you see we're getting a little bit dark in here. I'm just setting this up right now just to give us some more lights in here since the backdrop just blocked that window. I'm just bouncing it off the wall here. Let's turn it all the way up. And now we're lit. All right, so usually if I'm shooting any fashion stuff, this white backdrop gets brought all the way out to here. So one of the key players in this setup is this Nanlite Mix Panel 150. This is the key thing painting the backdrop basically. I'm gonna turn this all the way up to 100 and then we could do any color. Let me lower the exposure on this camera so you can see. In order to get the actual color out of the backdrop, you have to underexpose the shot. That makes your key light a little bit more difficult, but we'll cover that here in a second. This is at 100% and we're getting the full saturation. Let's go all the way to red. People might say, why don't you just lower the level down on this light, and you'll see it doesn't really have the same effect. It kind of just like dims the overall saturation of it because again, we're going on a white backdrop, but when you pump that color in and then you underexpose your camera, you're pretty much like overloading your camera and the saturation input that it's getting. So we're at F9 now. When I'm using continuous light for any of my studio stuff, which is most of the time, I'm usually at like 2.8 to F4, ISO 400 to ISO 800, and then my shutter speed I always try to keep at like 1/25th and up. If they're doing more moving, I try to do 1/250th of a second. But now I'm gonna kill this. There's a lot of saturation being put on there and it's not the most even. So when I shoot this, I try to cover the backdrop as much as I can. I am aware that in Photoshop, I'm gonna have to go and clean up the backdrop more. What would help is if I had a second one of these mixed panels, because then I could just blast both of them from both sides and that would totally cover the saturation, which maybe that's something I'll do. Okay, so the next issue from here is the key light. Now I'm just gonna use the Forza 300B with the projector mount to just show you guys what will happen here. Once you start getting color on there, it kills the saturation. Usually I always use my big Nanlite Octabox. I think it's like 4 or 5 feet big. It's pretty huge, and I use the Forza 500. If you're using it solely as a key light without the setup, it's plenty of enough light. You do have to open up your lens more, but when I'm doing this, it gets more difficult. I have to get it really close, so a higher output light would be awesome, just for key light for photography use. But again, you can see it totally just starts washing out that backdrop. So as you guys saw in the little breakdown video, that's what's cool about using softboxes or octaboxes is it's like a window that you can direct where the softness is going. So pretend again, this is a big softbox and the bleed on the light's way larger than this, obviously. But once you start getting it off the backdrop, you can see we have our saturation. So that's pretty much the key of it. And if you do start washing out your backdrop, you can obviously go through and lower your exposure even more. We went from F9 to F16. So you can see I'm kind of being keyed by this a little bit. That's the dance that you have to do with this. So that's pretty much the whole core vibe to this look. From here, I start trying to pop in little bits of color. That's why I put the Pavo tube down there just to add some color contrast. She's wearing a lot of black, and so if it's a lot of black off of red, that's like a two-tone kind of look. But if you start adding a third color in there, it just adds a little bit more contrast and makes things pop. If you wanted to, you could just keep them on a daylight mode just to add a little bit of sheen to the black and to the highlights just to make it pop off more, just makes it more dynamic. So also guys, this is what's cool about the Nanlite Bones mount projector attachment. I think it doubles the output of a light. I could be wrong, maybe quadruple the output, I don't know. But you can see I'm just bouncing off the wall here. Kind of have a key light, my hat's kind of blocking it. But yeah guys, that's pretty much it for that look. Hopefully that was simple enough. That's it. Hope you enjoy. Peace.
Make you feel sad sometimes.